Loading the player, Elon Musk spent the better part of 3 days on the witness stand this week in his lawsuit against OpenAI, and it's already getting messy. Emails, texts, and his own tweets are surfacing in court, and there are plenty more witnesses to come. Musk's argument against OpenAI: by converting the company to a for-profit model, Sam Altman betrayed the non-profit for the benefit of humanity mission Musk signed up to fund. And, as Musk keeps reminding the courtroom, you can't steal a charity.
Lawyers acting for convicted Bosnian Serb war criminal Ratko Mladic are awaiting a decision by a UN court on their bid to release him from jail in The Hague on the grounds he is near the end of his life. Mladic, 84, was jailed for life in 2017 for genocide, war crimes and crimes against humanity during the wars in the former Yugoslavia between 1992 and 1995. The sentence for the man known as the Butcher of Bosnia was upheld on appeal in 2021.
Shocking footage has emerged showing a French nun being attacked, apparently by a religious Jewish man. In Israeli-occupied East Jerusalem earlier this week, it shows the woman in a grey habit being shoved from behind, causing her to hit her head on a stone block. Her attacker, who is wearing a Jewish kippah and tzitzit ritual tassels, initially walks away but then returns to kick her as she lies on the ground.
And Peshawar. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chief Minister Sohail Afridi expressed on Friday his intention to protest against drone attacks in his province, saying that these attacks were resulting in collateral damage. The CM made these remarks while addressing a provincial cabinet meeting, a day after he hinted at introducing legislation to criminalise collateral damage in such incidents. And Iran delivered a new proposal for peace talks with the United States via Pakistan. State media reported on Friday, with US President Donald Trump saying that he was not satisfied with what had been put forth. The text of the proposal was handed to Islamabad on Thursday evening, the IRNA news agency reported on Friday.
The English cricket club Kent has suspended comments on their official social media accounts with head coach Adam Hollioake, suggesting players' mental health could be damaged by stinging criticism. Kent have made a bad start to the season and are currently at the foot of the second and bottom division of the county championship following 3 matches.
And Washington, D.C., the United States Department of Defense has announced a new agreement with 7 artificial intelligence companies to use their advanced technologies for its classified networks. The announcement on Friday is the latest instance of closer integration between the Pentagon, which has been expanding its use of AI for about a decade.
The long-awaited trade deal between the European Union and South America's Mercosur bloc has provisionally come into effect, boosting business ties amid tariff threats and deepening uncertainty around global cooperations. The pact took effect on Friday after 25 years of negotiations, creating one of the world's largest free trade areas with 720 million potential consumers and an estimated value of $22 trillion. After landing agreements with Google, SpaceX, and OpenAI, the US Defense Department said on Friday that it has signed deals with NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, and Reflection AI that allow it to deploy their AI tech and models on its classified networks for lawful operational use. These agreements accelerate the transformation toward establishing the United States military as an AI-first fighting force and will strengthen our warfighters' ability to maintain decision superiority across all domains of warfare, the statement reads.
Climate colonialism argues that the climate crisis is not an accident. It is the outcome of centuries of extraction. The world's richest countries, a small percentage of the global population, are responsible for the majority of historical greenhouse gas emissions, while regions like South Asia contribute little but face the harshest impact today.
A new estate-backed film, Michael, tells the story of Michael Jackson's rise from Gary, Indiana to global fame, highlighting hits like Thriller and his record-breaking success. But it ends before major scandals, and it leaves out the US musician's race and politics, including his solidarity with Palestine. What story is being told and what is being erased? In this episode...
And hacktivists have claimed responsibility for taking down the public-facing infrastructure of popular Linux operating system distribution Ubuntu, as well as Canonical, the company that develops and maintains the software. And the attack began on Thursday and affected services that Ubuntu users rely on. Canonical's web infrastructure is under a sustained cross-border attack, and we are working to address it. And we will provide more information in our official channels as soon as we are able to, the company said on its website. And the Pentagon said on Friday that it had reached agreements with 7 AI companies to deploy their advanced capabilities on the War Department's classified networks as it seeks to broaden the range of artificial intelligence AI providers working across the military. The statement notably excludes Anthropic, which has been in dispute with the Pentagon over guardrails for the use of its artificial intelligence tools by the military.
More than 100 activists aboard aid ships bound for Gaza were taken to the Greek island of Crete on Friday after Israeli forces seized their vessels in international waters near Greece. Flotilla organisers said the activists were part of a second global Sumud flotilla launched in recent months in an attempt to break Israel's blockade of Gaza by delivering humanitarian assistance. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif on Friday directed that an effective regulatory system for virtual assets in line with international standards should be operationalised as soon as possible. The remarks came as PM Shahbaz met with State Minister and Pakistan Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, PIRVARA, Chairman Bilal bin Saqib in Lahore, according to a handout by the Prime Minister's office, PMO. When Indonesia's Finance Minister Purbaya Yudi Sadewa floated the idea last week of charging a toll for vessels passing through the Strait of Malacca, inspired by Iran's moves in the Strait of Hormuz, it set off alarm bells among insurers and Asian importers. While Indonesia quickly walked back the suggestion, it underscored a growing reality. Analysts say what was once a rules-based order governing maritime navigation is becoming a more dangerous, expensive and, above all, politicised business.
Donald Trump has, over the past 48 hours, said that he is considering withdrawing American troops stationed in Germany, Italy and Spain, amid mounting tensions with European nations over their criticism of his handling of the war with Iran. Earlier in the week, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said that the US was being humiliated by Iran in the ongoing war, adding the Trump administration had no truly convincing strategy to bring the conflict to an end.
A woman was killed and several children were injured during Israel's latest attacks in Lebanon. Civilians are the majority of victims of attacks over the past 24 hours.
And manager Eddie Howe says that Newcastle United's Saudi Arabian owners remained as committed as ever to the club's success, even as their public investment fund prepares to cut ties with the LIV Golf Series. PIFE, which spent more than $5 billion on LIV Golf since it launched in 2022, said on Thursday that it would cut funding at the close of the 2026 season, leaving the breakaway circuit scrambling for new backers. And Benfica coach Jose Mourinho says there has been no contact between him and Real Madrid, despite speculation that the Spanish giants could turn to him soon. The veteran Portuguese coach, who led Los Blancos from 2010 to 2013 in a heated rivalry with Pep Guardiola's Barca, is reported to be on Madrid's shortlist for a new coach.
Power Minister Awais Leghari announced on Friday that the recent spell of electricity load shedding has officially ended following the arrival of a liquefied natural gas (LNG) shipment in Pakistan. In a televised statement, the minister said the power outages over the past month were triggered by a temporary gas shortage that arose due to the US-Iran situation.
India raised on Friday the prices of commercial liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, and jet fuel for international airlines, according to a state-run energy firm, as supply pressures from the Middle East war mount. The South Asian nation is heavily dependent on imported energy, including for roughly 60% of its LPG, the fuel used for cooking by a vast section of its population, the largest in the world.
The US war on Iran has boosted prices of globally traded natural gas by throttling exports from the Gulf. In West Texas, gas is so abundant that some producers must pay to have it taken away. The war and Iran's attacks on Gulf energy producers have halted 20% of global liquefied natural gas (LNG) supply.
US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has argued that the clock has paused on a deadline for the Trump administration to seek approval from Congress for the US-Israeli war with Iran. Hegseth was responding to questions from members of the Senate, or upper chamber, on Thursday.
And from almost any other country, the answer would have been a firm no. But when the United Arab Emirates came under a relentless Iranian attack during the US-Israeli war on Tehran, Israel agreed to deploy one of its most sensitive military systems. And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu secretly ordered the Israeli military to send an Iron Dome interceptor battery and soldiers to operate it to the UAE after a call with President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and a move that demonstrates just how far ties have come.
The head of a Greek Orthodox church in Jerusalem has condemned a brutal attack on a nun in the city earlier in the week and warned of growing concerns over the future for Christians living in the Holy Land. Archbishop Attala Hanna said on Facebook that the attack on a nun escalating violations against Christian institutions in the city.
Another major increase in petroleum prices, including petrol and diesel, has been challenged in the Federal Constitutional Court. The petition names the government of Pakistan and the Secretary of the Establishment Division as respondents. Researchers have developed a solar-powered approach that can convert plastic waste into fuel similar to petrol and other chemicals. This is a completely new way to curb plastic pollution by converting it into clean energy. The study was led by University of Adelaide PhD researcher Xiao Lu. The team followed a process that uses sunlight to transform discarded plastics into hydrogen, syngas, and other valuable chemical products.
The Pakistan Telecommunication Authority, PTA, has directed internet service providers, ISPs, to improve their services after detecting slow internet across 31 major cities, including Azad Jammu and Kashmir, AJK, and Gilgit-Baltistan, GB. PTA made these remarks in its Quality of Service QoS assessment of fixed-line broadband networks for Q1 2026. Italy has raised the financial proof requirement for international students applying for a study visa for university enrollment to $10,179.85 per year, according to the latest official procedures published on the Universitali portal. The updated requirement applies to international students seeking a study visa for university enrollment, also known as a National Type D visa, for higher education courses in Italy.